In today's ISS transmission, the astronaut Victor Glover will have a school interview with the students of a school in Australia. And the receiving station is in Europe, all the way here, 16,600 kilometers, and the students' questions will be transmitted to Australia via the internet, and the receiving transmitting station is located here in Belgium, and my antennas are right here. In a couple of seconds, the International Space Station will enter coverage of the telebridge station in Belgium, and the questions asked by the students cannot be heard via the radio, but I managed to find the questions and I will show them on the screen. We will lose some of them at the beginning until the space station reaches my coverage, which is here. This little toy antenna will be pointing in the direction of the International Space Station as it will pass over our heads.
working to do my part to make sure that that happens. So I hope that if that is a dream of yours, that what we're doing up here today enables you guys to do so in the future. Over. When I was young, I saw a space shuttle launch on television, and that was the beginning of it. And then later, as a professional, I was a pilot going through test pilot school, and I saw one of our few female shuttle commanders, Pam Melroy, who has recently been nominated actually to be our deputy administrator. She was giving a talk at a conference that I went to, and listening to her talk about the amazing technical and operational accomplishments of her crew really had me smitten. But the thing that I remember the most was the way she talked about her crewmates and how much she respected them. And that really is when I decided to apply, and I wound up applying twice to become an astronaut. Over. Emily, we actually can, and so you may not always know it though, because we see storms. You can see storms and lightning from up here, and you can see the big weather phenomena, the entire frontal systems as they move from continent or body of water to body of water, and that's really amazing, and it looks beautiful. But we have to remember that those have effects on the ground. But also, what we can see the most clear, I believe, is the change in water levels. So you can see how the coastlines of lakes and oceans changes. And that is probably the most drastic effect. And this is actually a great vantage point. Low Earth orbit is a great vantage point to see those, because we go over those spaces so often. Over. Mila, the most important skill for an astronaut to master, in my opinion, is adaptability or flexibility. And I think that's challenging because we have to learn lots of skills, and you have to be really good at lots of different things. And in that process, I think it's natural to want to control things, but a very important aspect of being flexible and adaptable is letting go of a little bit of control, knowing you can't always control things, but then using all those skills and training that you have to be able to adapt when the time is right. Over. That's a great question, Marley, and I'm going to kind of change it around on you and tell you that I hope I would never have to. One of my goals with this is to share it with as many people as I can, like what we're doing right now, so that if those things were at risk, I would obviously be able to go and talk about the great benefits of investing in space exploration and how every dollar that we spend turns into $3 to $5 of economic activity. But really, the most important thing that I can do is inspire young people like you to grow up into adults who remember that for the rest of their lives, so that when those things do come, that you would also feel the need to say the same thing. That's more than anything I could ever say. Over. Georgina, that's a great question, and I think the science that we do up here and the outreach and all those things, that's what it's here for. It's to there's a saying, off the earth, for the earth. We are absolutely working with humans on the ground, but I think there's also an aspect of the way we live up here as an international crew. We have a very international cadre right now on the space station, and I think that is a sign for people on Earth that we work together with all of our differences, that we can still accomplish amazing things. And I think that's a lesson everyone needs to hear. Over. Nancy Ann, when I first got to the space station, I felt like my brain was working really hard to find out where I was and where up and down was, and so that has gone away after about a week, and now I feel like I know my way around. Even if I flip upside down, I still know how to get around on the space station, and so that is a really good feeling. Over. Hi, Hannah. Yes, there's day and night. Actually, we call it insolation and eclipse. So we go behind the Earth, and so it blocks the sun, and it becomes dark. And then when we come around the other side and it becomes light again, we actually see that 16 times a day. So we get 16 sunrises and sunsets every day. But what we usually use as our time scale up here is Greenwich Mean Time. It's what time it is in London, and that's how we determine our morning, midday, and our nighttime. So even though there may be light outside, we'll shut the shutters because it's time to go to bed. Good question, over. Iris, I only did a little bit of Roscosmos training since I flew on an American spacecraft, but I think the difference, I would say, is the Roscosmos training focuses a little bit more on theory. The NASA training focuses a little bit more on experience and practical application. And I think when you get up here, both are very important. You need to be able to understand the theory and the way and the why things work, but also we have to be very good at lots of different things when it comes to operating safely in space. And it's really great to have international crews because we bring the best of all of that training together. And there's also training at NASA, and with our Canadian Space Agencies, our Japanese Space Agency partners, and our European Space Agency partners that all have different strengths. Over. I'm no longer able to hear you, but St. Scholastica College, if you're able to hear me, it was great speaking to you all. I hope you have a wonderful week, and thank you for spending this time with me.
Houston, the Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground.